Look at Claude Fable 5. This system tracks dropped details across 30 chapters and rewrites 50 million line codebases in a single day. When you ask it to write a thriller, that massive computational power works against you. It defaults to a mathematical average, producing robotic, predictable slop. The stop-slop method changes how you interact with the machine. By the end of this session, you will have a custom voice DNA profile to force the AI out of its safe zone. To follow along, you need two things: access to Claude Fable 5 and a wholly original story seed that you came up with yourself. This brings us to the prime directive. You do the human work. You feed it your bones. The AI is strictly an assistant, never an autopilot. Taking total directorial control over the process establishes you as the author. The machine handles the heavy lifting, while you maintain absolute creative authority over the output. Step 1 is establishing your foundation. You must provide the core premise yourself, rather than letting the AI invent it from scratch. When an AI invents a plot, it mathematically defaults to the statistical average of that genre, landing in the center peak. But input your human-created idea and prompt Fable 5 to attack it, and you shatter that average centerline. Fable 5's massive context window serves as an aggressive continuity editor, identifying inconsistencies in your world building that smaller models miss. By demanding an attack on your premise, the AI will expose your load-bearing logic flaws, like a character hiding a body in a physically impossible 9-minute window. Using the system to actively hunt these vulnerabilities, rather than letting it apply generic patches, forces you to solve the problem yourself, preserving your narrative authority. Now that your structure is solid, we need to build your voice DNA. This is a strict rule block you must construct before attempting any drafting. The first pillar is your sentence rhythm directive. Explicitly instruct the model to vary its sentence length to prevent flat, predictable pacing. The second pillar is the banned vocabulary list. You must catalog and aggressively suppress the lexical cliches the AI loves to use. The third pillar is the prime directive. You establish a firm rule that the AI controls the environment, but it never speaks, thinks, or decides for your main character. Next, we apply style stacking. Pick two distinct, completely clashing author styles whose work you admire. This diagram illustrates how colliding these styles forces the prose off the machine's smooth centerline. It cannot resolve the tension into an average, giving you a jagged, highly unique voice. Save this 300-word rule block. You will paste these exact rules into the start of every single drafting session. Your voice DNA operates as a permanent override switch. Without it in place, the machine will always drift back to its safe, recognizable defaults. With your rules locked, run your drafting prompt while strictly enforcing your new voice DNA. This visual comparison shows the difference. The default output on the left is smooth and bland, while the style-stacked draft is punchy and dynamic. Once you have a draft, we begin the interrogation pass. Open a completely separate prompt window specifically for critique. Asking for a draft and critique in the exact same prompt creates a systemic imbalance. Fable 5 will go easy on work it just generated. Splitting generation and critique into separate conversations is mandatory to get an honest review. You take the objective feedback from this isolated interrogation pass and use it to convert identified plot holes into intentional narrative choices and plot devices. Forcing the AI into a strict, isolated editorial role breaks its defensive loop. It keeps your narrative architecture rigorous and sound. We have reached the final phase, the scrub layer. This requires manually hunting down and destroying the machine's favorite metaphors and overused words. You evaluate every metaphor with one ultimate question: could this imagery drop into any other book? If the answer is yes, you kill it. You replace it with an image wholly unique to your specific story and your characters. The result is a finalized paragraph stripped entirely of flat rhythms and telltale AI phrasing. The prose reads human because you did the human work. You directed the structure, fed it your bones, and maintained creative control at every step. Download the free 10 phrases guide from the description below, or pick up the Stop Slop book to lock in this skill set and secure your human voice.